Hey, my name's Travis Michelson. I want to thank you for stopping by this page on Facebook. And the first thing I want to tell you is this page is not about me. This page is about you. You see, I want you to be able to experience what I just experienced. And I want you to come out the other side feeling the way that I feel today. You see, 12 short weeks ago on January 3rd, 2012, I tipped the scale at 244 pounds and I was over 31% body fat. And for those of you that don't know, that is actually considered clinically obese. Now, I found that out because I walked into the gym one day and they were doing free body fat analysis. And it was one of those things, kind of like when you go to the dentist for the first time in 5 years and you get those butterflies in your stomach because you really don't want to know, but you kind of got to. Well, that's how I felt, and I knew I needed to know. And after the trainer gave me the bad news, he said something to me, and it was kind of like stabbing me in the heart with a knife and twisting it and then saying, "You'll thank me later." He asked me what I was doing that got me there. So we talked about my workouts, we talked about my diet, and then he said something to me, and it's just very direct. He said, "Travis, if you keep doing what you've been doing up until now, you're going to end up being a really strong, really fat guy, and we have enough of those, so knock it off." Well, that hurt, but he was right. And now, 12 weeks later, I'm down 38 pounds. I weigh in at 206. I've lost over 11% of my body fat. My cardio's off the charts, where 12 weeks ago I was doing about 1.5 miles in 20 minutes on the treadmill. I'm now doing 6.5 miles in 59 minutes. My strength on all of my exercises have increased by at least 10 to 20 pounds. I have more energy, more of a zeal for life. I look better, I feel better than I probably have since I was in my mid-20s. And here's the funny thing, I didn't even know how bad I felt 12 weeks ago until I started feeling good again. And I know a lot of you are probably in a very similar situation. So what I want to do is I just want to tell you my brief story about how I got here. And I only want to tell it to you because I think a lot of you will be able to relate to some of it or all of it. Now, for me, growing up, I was in pretty good shape. Throughout high school, I was a competitive martial artist, joined the Marine Corps out of high school, and even though I ended up with a medical discharge from that, after the Marine Corps, I taught martial arts for a while, and when I married my wife at the age of 26, I weighed 198 pounds, and I was right around 10% body fat. I was in really good shape. And then something happened to me that happens to so many of us in different ways. It started with us having our twin daughters, and my workouts became a little bit less consistent. And then in 2001, I started my first mainstream business, a carpet and tile cleaning company in Phoenix, Arizona. And I was on the road all the time. My business grew well, but I had to eat quickly between appointments, so I became best friends with Ronald, Jack, and Wendy. I became addicted to Pepsi to keep me going. And it didn't matter how hard I worked out, I couldn't outwork my crappy diet. And over 12 years, I put on over 46 pounds of fat. And it wasn't all at once. I started out in 32s, and I'd get to the point where those were really uncomfortable, and then I'd swear I was going to lose weight, and I would try, and it would be too slow, and I'd get demotivated, and I'd just buy a bigger pair of pants. And I went to 33s, and 34s, and 36s, and 38s. And then the 38s were starting to feel tight. And I found this program. And now I'm back down to 34s, and I'm not done yet. My goal is by my 40th birthday, which is mid-April 2012 here in a couple of weeks, I want to be back down to 200 pounds and fitting back into my 32. So I got a little ways to go from my ultimate goal, but I'm on a great start. The last thing I want to tell you about is just a couple of things that I found out about in the process of the last 12 weeks. Some of the things that really surprised me and that I learned. The first thing that really shocked me is I was a die-hard Pepsi and Dr. Pepper addict. I'd go through a 2-liter a day. And for the first week, it was a little bit of a struggle that I was on this program. But after that, I didn't even miss it anymore. And that totally blew me away. I haven't had a drink of soda in over 13 weeks, and I haven't missed it. The other thing that really surprised me was eating healthy, for me, was actually cheaper than eating unhealthy. And a lot of people think it's the opposite, but when you're eating at McDonald's or whatever twice a day, spending $9 on fast food, you can easily put together healthy meals for that amount of money. So I am actually saving money on my food bill. The other thing that shocked me, and I mentioned this earlier, that when I would try to lose weight before and maybe I'd lose a pound or two in a week and I get demotivated, when you combine decent eating with some normal exercise, and then you add in these body products, which you'll learn about more on my other website, it supercharges your results. In the first week on this plan, I lost 7 pounds. I lost a pound a day. And I got to tell you, what that did is it motivated me to do even more the second week. And I continued to lose the entire time. I lost weight every single week during the past 12 weeks and felt great in the process.